Some more proof this morning that Canadians are having trouble keeping up with rising prices.
We're going to hit you with warehousing, we're going to hit you with the admin fee, we're going to hit you with 3M.
When it comes to Canadians and their debt, long-term car loans are increasingly where the rubber meets the road.
Some could interpret purchasing this car as behavior characteristic of imperialistic brat.
If you walk through most middle-class neighborhoods or low-income neighborhoods, you'll notice one thing that is very similar across the board. The cars that are in the driveways of these houses are often much nicer than the houses themselves. It's no accident, car loans are one of the biggest drivers of financial insecurities in Canada and the US. People are buying more car than they can afford. And why? To keep up appearances. Keeping up with the Joneses is always something that people want to do. And if the companies allow these people to buy these cars, even if they can't financially afford it, people are going to do it. Let me be clear, I understand that some people need cars. I live in Winnipeg, a place where it gets down to -30 in the wintertime.
We're in downtown Winnipeg on the corner of Portage and Main, which is the windiest corner in the country.
Public transportation is not the most fun or viable thing to take here. Yes, it is something that you can take if you would like to, but the city is also designed in an incredibly terrible way to use public transportation. Let me be honest also, I love cars. Like, I am a huge car enthusiast. I watch car videos on YouTube. My dream is to own a Porsche. I would like a truck right now, but I understand that these are expensive things, and if you're not able to afford them, it's best to not go into debt for them. Cars are a terrible investment. They lose about 20 to 30% of their value the first year of ownership and about 50% of their value within 5 years. This has been flipped on its head a little bit with COVID, chip manufacturing, and just the whole used car market. It's been a little bit different, but it is still never a good investment to buy a car. Now, there are some cars that do appreciate, like the Ford GT or maybe some models of Porsches, etc., but that does not mean that they are better investments than if you put your money in the stock market, in an S&P index fund. They might outperform it a little bit, but I really doubt it. The whole benefit of buying an investment car is so that you could use the car and enjoy it, and most people that buy them as investments are not enjoying them, so it doesn't make any sense. So how do you buy a car without going broke? There's a couple rules that I'm gonna go over today that are not groundbreaking, they are not new, but they will help you in your search to be able to be more financially free. Buy a cheap, affordable car in cash if you can. If you currently have a car and you're looking to upgrade your car, try holding off for a little bit and actually saving cash instead of having to take out a loan to purchase a new car. Yes, it'll suck in the meantime while you drive that car, but when you're able to buy a car in cash, you have no interest and no debt. If buying a car in cash is not an option, you can follow the 20-4-10 rule. The 20 stands for a 20% down payment. Now, this allows you to put a large chunk of cash into the vehicle to help lower your interest rate. The 4 rule is a 4-year loan. You don't want to go over this, and if you could go under it, it's even better. It'll depend on what the interest rates you can get are, but if you're going for anything above that, you're going to pay a lot of interest and prolong the purchase of this car. And the 10 stands for 10% of your income. You want to keep the cost of this car, including maintenance, gas, and insurance, below 10% of the income that you have. Buy used and not new. There are some instances where buying a new car might make more sense. A lot of people say that they want the warranty, but if you do a pre-owned vehicle, sometimes you can buy external warranty for that, or the dealership will include some type of warranty with the vehicle as well. If you buy a reliable car, the warranty should be less of an issue, and you should just be able to factor your expenses for maintenance of that car. And as long as nothing major goes with the car, you should be fine with that amount you budgeted. I know, again, with the market being the way that it is, there are some cars that might make more sense to buy new. I don't know exactly what those cars would be. One that I could see would be a Toyota Tacoma. They are so expensive used and retain their value to such a high degree. I actually think it makes sense to buy one new, but it's going to vary depending on the car. You want to research the total ownership cost of the car. This is going to include things like how much gas is it going to consume for the amount that you drive? What does the maintenance look like over a 4-year period? If you're buying a used car that's been around for a few years, there will be a very well documented list of all of the problems that car may have. of. People sometimes neglect to think about the different insurance prices in the cars that they're buying. An example, I was looking at buying a used Ram the other day, and the insurance cost was about $500 more per year than my current car. So that is something that you need to consider as well. Another thing is to get pre-approved from financing from your local bank before actually going to the dealership. A lot of times dealerships make a lot of money on their financing. This is one of the biggest revenue makers for them. So they want to get you on some type of plan that is going to make them a lot of money. If you get pre-approved from your bank beforehand, you'll know what you're approved for and what the right rate that you should receive is based on your credit score, etc. And you're not going to be taken advantage of when you get to the dealership. Now, I'm not saying all dealerships are bad, but I'm saying this does happen. So it's good to know what it's going to cost you to take out a loan. You can still do your lease or financing with the dealership. Just make sure you know what that rate's going to be beforehand. Try and avoid unnecessary add-ons like warranties, insurances, and just dealer marked up things, because that is where they make their money.
This car salesman is lifting the curtain on sales practices he says rip off customers.
A lot of stuff is blown up fluff for profit. So you're never gonna buy that car for what you think you're gonna buy it for. Almost like $10,000 difference to what we advertise online.
Sometimes you might want that extra extended insurance for a certain reason, or if you're buying a used car, getting the extended insurance might not be a bad idea, depending on how reliable that car is. If you have a Land Rover, you might want that extra insurance. I don't think you should buy a Land Rover. It's always good to get the car inspected by a third party before purchasing as well. You can negotiate an offer that is on terms of an inspection, and then have somebody make sure that the car is solid and you're not gonna have any big mechanical issues right after buying it. Again, this is just a reminder that we do not need fancy materialistic things in our lives to make us more happy. I love materialistic things and fancy things as long as I can afford them and you can afford them. A lot of the times people will purchase a new car, a flashy car, and they have this rush of dopamine, serotonin, and excitement for this new vehicle, and it's amazing. After a couple weeks, it's just gonna turn into your regular car again, and you're not gonna feel that same excitement every time you get into it. Remember that when you're making an emotional purchase towards something that is a luxury item or something that you don't really need. My whole thesis with this video and what I want to try and get across is it's cool to drive a car that is not cool. If you can get a basic Honda Civic or something and drive that around, that will be a reliable car that lasts you forever. I hope this video helped give you a different perspective on purchasing a vehicle, and I hope some of these tips will help you going forward on one of those purchases. Thanks for watching.